Hey, real quick before we start the show, we recently jumped into the top 100 in the entrepreneurship category in Apple Podcasts. We recently also passed 24,000 listens, and yet we only have 24 reviews. More reviews would get us higher up in the rankings, and the only one that can do that is you listening to this. So if you could just take 1 minute and go leave a review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you are, it really, really does help the show, and I can't thank you enough. Hopefully we're giving you so much value, you'll happily take a minute here and just go rate and review the show. We appreciate it very, very much. Welcome to the Dropship Podcast, where you'll learn how to build and grow a high-ticket dropshipping business and hear stories from successful e-commerce entrepreneurs. Let's kick this thing off. Hey, welcome to the Dropship Podcast, another Tactical Tuesday episode, and today we are going to talk about 6 Shopify apps you must have in your high-ticket dropshipping store, and we've got a few more on the end, too, to throw in there of, like, you don't need these, but I tend to put them on my store, or John tends to recommend them to some students or put on his stores, and so we thought we'd throw a few extra in there.
Yeah, awesome. And, these are the must-haves. I think mistake a lot of people can make is, whacking too many apps in their Shopify account and getting hammered with, things like poor page speed, load times, and, paying unnecessary amounts of money for apps that aren't really necessary and all that sort of thing. So these are the must-haves. And to be honest, particularly if you're at the start of your journey, you can literally get away with these for quite some time, I think. Let's get into it.
Well, I think we should jump into the most expensive one right out of the gates. Like this one, to me, it's super imperative. And you're playing the long-term game here, but it's expensive, no doubt, right? And it's called JSON LD. And what this does is add schema markup to your website. So if you've ever gone to Google and you've searched for a location, say a golf course, you've likely seen schema at work where it popped out, a location schema on the right-hand side. Or if you've searched for a recipe, Lord knows we've all searched for recipes on Google, and you will likely see recipe schema where it pulls up a picture and some info on the recipe. Well, there's also things for e-commerce such as review stars, which will pop up on certain products if you have enough reviews or you have the right system behind it, which we'll talk about later. There is also price. And there's all sorts of other schema markup. And so JSON LD writes it all for you, and they put all of it into your theme for you. You don't have to think about this. And I will say there's some other apps that claim to do this or that do some of this, but I don't think anyone's doing it as good as JSON LD is doing it, which is, why they rightfully can charge $2.99 one-time fee.
It is the best. And I think that the reason that you want to do this, you can even manage sort of schema by yourself. It's really code in your site, but the advantage of having the app is that they update it regularly. Schema does change over time. And if you've got an app managing it for you, you don't even have to think about it to have peace of mind that it's always going to be right on your site and you're going to be getting the best results there. So, yeah, definitely.
That's probably my favorite part. He keeps it updated heavily. He's got a really good email list, too, if you want to find it. Maybe I can put it in the show notes if I can find it. But great guy. Runs a great app, and it's constantly updated. You got to have it one way or another.
Yep, definitely. All right, number 2. So, you want to make any money in e-commerce, engage your customers, sell more products, you need to be doing email marketing. And there's there's only really 2 email tools that we would recommend. And you need an app in your store to make use of both of them. And those are Klaviyo or Drip. So both of those have an app. You install it in your Shopify store. And why that's important is that those tools use that app to pull all of your data about your products, your customers, into their email software so that you can create emails that are really targeted to your customer, their behavior on your site. So someone added to cart or bought this product and not that product and all sorts of things. You can implement some really, really powerful email automations and things like that are actually based on what's happening on your site and the behavior of your customers. And of course, that in turn is going to lead to better results from your email marketing. So you got to have that one way or the other.
Powerful and a little creepy at times too, right? Like the first time I stumbled on browse abandonment, that's a little creepy. Like, you know, let's say you went to a store, you put something in your cart, you went to checkout, entered your email, and then you left, right? You know you're going to get some abandoned cart emails, which again, Klaviyo is wonderful for this. But if you go back to that website and they have a browse abandonment sequence set up, and you go look at a certain collection, let's say about blue jeans or something, you're going to all of a sudden get an email that if they've done it well, you're not going to know. They're not going to like make it obvious that they saw you looking at blue jeans, but you'll start seeing on stores people, hey, saw you looking at blue jeans, come back and shop now. And it gets a little creepy at times.
It can do. It can do. You got to do that tastefully for sure.
But that's the power of Klaviyo, right? You can do so much with Klaviyo or Drip. I'm a big fan of Klaviyo personally, and the segmentation, and it's more powerful than I even know what to do with, if I'm honest with you. There's just so much you can do in there, and it's the go-to for e-commerce people for sure. Next up on the list is another one you have to have. It does cost money, but I want to say it's like $3 a month. This is called Rewind. You likely are going to have multiple people helping you with your business, right? Whether that's a contractor or whether that's your mom or your best buddy or whoever's helping you with your business, there's going to be multiple people in your site, let alone you in there who may not know what you're doing right out of the gates. And sometimes things get deleted, right? I've had contractors delete products. I've had other people make mistakes that are irreversible on Shopify. Rewind takes care of any worry that you have around that. You can simply rewind your business to a previous version. It is absolute no-brainer for $3 a month. It does go up as your business gets bigger, but to remove all worry about losing something in your business or someone deleting a product, and let me tell you, if someone deletes a product, there's no way to get it back. It doesn't exist anywhere anymore. And so I would recommend this to absolutely everyone.
Yeah, and another common thing is or can be like, if you're messing around with code in your website, or if somebody you're paying is messing around with the code in your website, and you've got a third-party person off like Fiverr because you're being a cheap ass, and they completely screw up your website, which happens. You can rewind. They didn't make a copy of your theme before they did it. You can rewind and get that back, get the last backup in, and sort of fix that really easily, and can save you hours of frustration.
Hey, if you're a big fan of this podcast, you're likely going to be a big fan of our YouTube channel as well. John and I try to put out a video every week. We do our best, and we'd love to have you over there. You can check it out at dropshipbreakthru.com/YouTube. Subscribe, check out a few videos, throw a thumbs up on there. Let the algorithm know you want to see more high-ticket dropshipping content from John and myself. All right, back to the show.
And next up, we have high-ticket dropshipping. One of the first traffic sources you're going to go to is Google Shopping. Great place to start. And to do that, you need to be able to put a feed in to Google Merchant Center. And you absolutely do have to use a tool to do that. It's not something you can do yourself. The one we recommend is Feeds for Google Shopping by Simprocess Info Media. There's a number of tools that do this, including Shopify having its own one built into Shopify. Unfortunately, that one still doesn't quite have all of the features that you might want to use to provide high quality product data to Google Merchant Center. Feeds for Google Shopping by Simprocess does have all of the available options that you would want to use. And it's easy to use for you. And so that's the one that we recommend to set up your product feed. High quality data will improve the performance of your ads. And so you need a good app for it.
Yeah, I've used different ones. I've used the Shopify native for Paramount Pet Health. I run my own Google Sheet, which is time intensive in its own right. Simprocess makes this super, super simple. I would definitely recommend that. They have two apps. One is for like Bing, and you're going to think you need one for Google and one for Bing. You don't. You just need the Google shopping feed. They also really want you to set up like all sorts of conversions in Google. And I would say for a beginner, you don't need all of those. You just need to know when you convert and when you don't convert, not when someone adds to cart or views page. Or like there's all sorts of conversions you can do that are more advanced and help you understand somebody's journey in the funnel. But in the beginning, if you're a beginner, don't worry about any of those things. Just set up the standard conversion event so that you can track when somebody has converted on your site through a Google ad. Simprocess makes this super, super easy. Can't recommend them enough. Beyond that, you're going to need a way to collect reviews on your business. And this is another place where you can choose from many different options. And it's very easy to look at the cheap one and say, that's all I need. But I'm telling you right now, you're going to want the slightly more expensive version, but way more powerful, and it's called Stamp.io. There are other ones on the market, but John and I both recommend Stamp.io as the only thing you should use to collect reviews. You can move up your count as you grow with them and be able to do some really cool things, such as collecting video reviews, using it for UGC. There's a lot you can do with Stamp.io, including some features that I personally got implemented with Stamp.io because we wanted them. We wanted to be able to have stars show up for our collection pages through Schema Markup. Stamp.io made that possible through a request from yours truly. We also wanted to change the headline from saying customer reviews to being able to say product title reviews. Stamp.io and one of their competitors both got this changed because of me. And so I love Stamp.io. They're very open to changing things. They make things super, super easy, and it's relatively inexpensive. I want to say it's like $19 a month in the beginning, which is absolutely nothing for you to collect reviews. And trust me, the more reviews you have, the more genuine reviews you have, the more your conversion rate's going to increase, which is going to put more in your bottom line. You're not going to worry about the $19 a month or $39 a month or $99 a month that it turns into over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love Stamp.io. Cool. So,
hey, just want to jump in here real quick and say if you're loving this show, the number one thing you can do to help us out is simply go to Spotify or iTunes or whatever you're listening on and smash that follow button, that subscribe button, and leave us a review. It really does help us reach more people. And if you've got a friend that you know should be listening to this, send the podcast over to them. We'd love to have them join us as well. And real quick, 2 quick resources I have for you. If you want to join us in our free Facebook group, you can find that at facebook.com/groups/Dropship Tribe, or just search the Dropship Tribe. And we also have a paid version of this podcast where you can get even more of John and I and longer form content. You can find that on Patreon at patreon.com/Dropship Podcast. All right, back to the show.
Online chat, customer service for high ticket dropshipping businesses, it definitely happens. I can certainly remember, in my first business, we worked out that about 20% of our sales came following or, had online chat as part of the customer journey. And it helped us make a ton of sales. So for online chat, in the beginning, particularly if you're a beginner, we recommend talk.to. You can find it in the Shopify App Store. It's actually free in the beginning. And I tested all of these there's a lot of different chat tools. Once again, I tested them all, and talk.to was the most effective for page speed load times. Now, your online chat tool is one of the tools that can suck up a lot of page load time, which has a lot of other flow-on implications. This one was the best, and it has the best features compared to other ones that were similarly fast. So we recommend that. Like I say, you can start using it for free. And once your business grows, there are some other chat and customer service related tools like Gorgeous, and a few other ones around that you can move up to when you're making some more money. But for a long time, you can get by with talk.to and give your customers a great experience when they're on your site.
So in the beginning of the show, I said 6 Shopify apps. As we're creating this, I just changed the title to 7 Shopify apps because we almost forgot about a phone system, John. Like, you're going to need a phone system in your business to take calls. That's where you're going to really make hay in the beginning. That's where you're going to need to hustle and answer these calls. We recommend Grasshopper here in the United States. Again, I'll put all of these in the show notes if you want to find links for these. We recommend Grasshopper in the States. John, what do you recommend in Australia for a toll-free number for your business?
Look, in Australia, there's a lot of different options. We don't quite have options like there is in the US, but one I would say off the top of my head is Zintel, Zintel.
Perfect. And we didn't want to stop there, right? Those are 7 that you should have if you want to get going the right way, but we threw in a few more like nice to haves here at the end. We'll try to zip through these as fast as possible. Clear sale right off the top of the gates. I know this is more of an American thing. There's fraud everywhere. When a fraudster finds your sites, somehow, I don't know if they are in forums together or what, but the floodgates open and fraud just continues to show up. So this might not be a big deal if you're selling $10 items and fraud shows up and you get a chargeback for $10. That's not going to be the end of the world for you. But when your average order value is $2,000 or $3,000 and you have fraud show up and a chargeback happens in the beginning of your business, that can really, really hurt. So in the beginning, I think this is a no-brainer. You should add something like Clear Sale. They will take 0.5% or 0.75% of every sale. And that is just your peace of mind going out the door. It may add up by the end of the month, but I promise you your peace of mind is worth more. If you got one chargeback for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, that's going to hurt in the beginning. Heck, it hurts later on too. Chargebacks are no fun whatsoever. And so I don't know if you have anything overseas, John, for this, or if it's even a problem, but it's definitely a problem in the States, and ClearSale will remove that headache for you.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't say it doesn't exist elsewhere in the world, but certainly my observation from operating in both the US and Australia is that it is significantly smaller in Australia. I think in Australia, I've only ever had 2 chargebacks in total. Right, wow. That's in 7 years, whereas in the US, it's a much more frequent occurrence. So definitely in the US, I think something along these lines is needed. Outside of the US, I probably wouldn't worry about it.
Shout out to our Patreon. There's an episode called Ben's Big L. You can find that at patreon.com/Dropship Podcast. All old episodes are free, so you can go listen to that one for free. And if we put on a new one, it's just $5 for any new episode. But it's called Ben's Big L, where I want to say I got 12 or a baker's dozen, 13 on a store I purchased in like 3 months. It was awful. I ended up getting rid of the business. You can go listen to my sob story if you want to check that out on patreon.com/Dropship Podcast. Hey, next up is another nice to have. You don't need to have this, but it's nice to have. It's called Live Search. And it really just turns your search bar, which is very valuable real estate for you, into something that's actually searchable. And so when somebody types it in, it's very good at finding the right product or the right article or anything to recommend to them, or collection, versus what is native in Shopify. I don't remember the cost on this one, but it's not much. And I'm sure it's a monthly charge. They all are. But Live Search is what it's called.
Cool. Following on from our recommendation on the email, if you want to take your communication with prospective customers or existing customers sort of and add a bit more oomph to it, you want to have a look at SMS marketing. Definitely works. I love SMS marketing. You have a much more super high open rates and that sort of thing. And there's a couple of tools you can use for that. Postscript. We love Postscript. And also SMS Bump. So you can use SMS marketing to re-engage existing customers. You can use it for abandoned carts, the same as you would use email for abandoned carts. You can use it for all sorts of things. I personally love it and recommend people check it out once you've got your sort of email marketing system worked out.
Yeah, next up, upsell. You're going to want to have some sort of upsell. When somebody adds the main product to your cart, you're likely going to say, hey, you might want to check out product X, Y, or Z that go along with this product. You can do that in a couple different ways. So here's a couple apps. So one's called Candy Rack that I like. There's a ton of different upsell apps out there. Candy Rack makes this super, super simple for you to, when someone hits add to cart on main product, immediately hits them with a pop-up and was like, you can have it say whatever you want. 85% of people added X, Y, and Z to their cart. Would you like to add it to your cart or whatever? Very, very quick and easy. And then the other one you can just have on the product page, which is frequently bought together. It is a relatively cheap app where you choose the items kind of like you see on Amazon. When you go to Amazon and you're looking at a product, it shows you frequently bought together. This is the same thing for your Shopify store. It just bundles those together. And finally, just one free tool for you. It is called Clarity. It is a recent invention from Microsoft, who's trying to come back into the world, I guess. I'm not sure where they're going with this one, but essentially it's you used to have to pay for this, like Hotjar or I don't even remember, Lucky Orange, I believe was some names of this. This is absolutely free. If you just go to clarity.microsoft.com and sign up and throw the pixel on your website. Again, this is where it gets a little creepy. You can watch everyone on your website, everything they're doing, their mouse clicks, where they're scrolling. If you are not in e-commerce yet and you're listening to this thinking about starting, this may come as a surprise to you that you can see all of this stuff, but Clarity makes it absolutely free. And so I would encourage anyone who has a store right now, go sign up at clarity.microsoft.com and watch your customers on your site. Learn where they're clicking. You'll likely see images that they're trying to click on that you don't have linked, or they're trying to scroll, or they're scrolling through stuff way too fast because you just have this giant text block that no one's reading, or they're coming to a product, they're bouncing right away. You might see why. They might have their mouse hovered over the price. There's all sorts of stuff you can learn. You can also watch someone's customer journey. If they're coming in through a blog post, watch where they're going from there. Are they going where you want them to go in that blog post? Or are they going somewhere else? Are they searching for things on your site? You can learn a lot about your customer, and this is probably my favorite free tool that exists.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, cool. There's 7 and a bunch more apps for you to get on your high-ticket dropshipping store. If you have more, send us something in our Facebook group, or comment below if you're listening to this on YouTube. We want to hear what apps are we missing here. If you have some that you think are necessary for your business or are just really cool in general, there's always new ones coming out. We'd love to hear about it, so make sure you leave a comment. Thanks for listening to the Dropship Podcast. You can find all the show notes for this episode at dropshippodcast.com. And if you're ready to take the next step in your dropshipping journey, we invite you to join us inside Dropship Breakthru, where John and I will walk you through step by step in starting your own high-ticket dropshipping e-commerce business. But that's not all. Dropship Breakthru will also teach you everything you'll need to know to grow your business and take it to the next level. So head over to dropshipbreakthru.com and sign up for our free training that will help you take the first steps towards building and growing your own profitable high-ticket dropshipping business.